All right, folks. So it does appear to be official. Joe Biden is reneging on one of his main promises as president. One of the things that he was supposedly, he was comparable to progressives on, and that is a $15 federal minimum wage. Now, I started to get pretty happy because there were real signs that the $15 minimum wage were going to be able to make it through because of the current Senate makeup, and this is clearly our best chance we're going to get. I highly doubt that in 2022, after the midterms are over, that the Democrats will be in a better position. So really in the Senate, all you have that you have to bulldoze through somehow are Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. And I believe that if you are to apply enough pressure, I think you can get them to capitulate. So it says, when Joe Biden met with a group of mayors and governors last week, he bluntly told them to get ready for a legislative defeat. His proposed minimum wage hike was unlikely to happen, he said, at least in the near term. Quote, I really want this in there, but it just doesn't look like we can do it because of reconciliation. I'm not going to give up, but right now we have to prepare for this not making it. The comments, which were confirmed by two other people familiar with the conversation, were the furthest Biden has gone in conceding the coming axing of the $15 an hour minimum wage provision from his first major legislative package. And they suggest that the president is more inclined to manage the fallout of it not being included than to pursue a long shot political capital consuming efforts to fight for its insertion. So it's just sitting in the Oval Office with Republican and Democratic elected officials last Friday to advocate for his $1.9 trillion COVID relief package. He didn't hide his skepticism. Doesn't look like we can do it, he said of the minimum wage hike. So the thing is, if he is not to get this through what's called budget reconciliation, now reconciliation allows you to pass something with just 51 votes in the Senate, it's filibuster proof. This would be the only real shot of getting it through. And so if you don't actually get this through, if you don't get this through budget reconciliation, what you're essentially saying is you're only going to be able to get it through with 60 votes, a filibuster-proof cloture, number, which is impossible. You're not going to get 9 Republicans who are going to vote for it. It had to be 10. It's just not going to happen. So basically, you're giving up. Congress only does, I think Congress will really only allowed to do one budget reconciliation bill per year. So next year he's just going to push it off, or the Democrats won't even have the numbers by then to do it. And so this happens pretty commonly with Democratic presidents. They kind of find excuses to give up and then say, oh, okay, well, we'll do it at a later date. And then it never happens. Things like, trying to close Guantanamo Bay and stuff like that. It says his comments drew pushback from fellow Democrats who have argued that raising the minimum wage isn't just necessary for an economically battered country, but is sound politics as well. They have urged the White House to find avenues for making it reconciliation compliant, to push party members skeptical of a major minimum wage hike to get on board, and to consider the procedural nuclear option of having the party, with VP Kamala Harris serving as the tie-breaking vote, overrule the parliamentarian. So what that is about is, I guess the parliamentarian gets to decide whether or not something is legitimate under reconciliation, because under reconciliation you're basically reconciling the budget, essentially, is what you're doing. And so there's a Senate parliamentarian that gets to decide, okay, is this valid in this case? But what can happen is the VP can overrule that parliamentarian. So that would be the option to go through, which is literally what they should do. It says, given the makeup of the Senate, this is our best opportunity in the right moment in the midst of this pandemic to give millions of workers a long overdue raise, Representative Pramila Jayapal, the Progressive Caucus chair, said in a press call with reporters on Thursday. Biden's suggestion to mayors and governors that they start preparing for the absence of a minimum wage hike in the COVID bill suggests what has been hinted at elsewhere. He is reluctant to deploy such strong-arm options. So, this is pretty much it. I mean, it's over. If this does not get through this budget reconciliation effort, it's not going to get passed. I'm sorry, it's a wrap. It's over. Because again, you only have one reconciliation bill a year, and by this time next year, who knows what the makeup of Congress is going to be? So there's just not any real likelihood it's going to get through. And also, since Joe Biden will already have been president, he'll push it back and he'll stop caring about the minimum wage hike, period. And this just so follows the trend that we see with Democratic presidents who make promises for stuff, progressive stuff like $15 minimum wage, then they don't even fight for it. If Joe Biden were to at least fight his ass off for it, it would be one thing, but he doesn't care. He clearly doesn't support it and doesn't want it. And so far, Joe Biden has been a really colossal failure as president. He hasn't really done anything transformational. We're in a time right now where we need an FDR-like president. Instead, we're getting, '08 slow stimulus check, Obama, or, some Hoover type shit. This is really, really bad so far. He has not done anything. This is the moment you're supposed to seize, but obviously it's Joe Biden, so we're not going to get it through. But he's reneging on his promise, and I guarantee you there's no way this is going to get passed. If they don't use this moment right now, there's no way it's going to get through. Based on reconciliation only being once a year, based on the fact that Joe Biden's not going to care once time progresses. That's how Democratic presidents always do it. They say, oh, my hands are tied, which is complete bullshit. So, this is really terrible.